it going, everyone? It's DK with RPM Gaming. We're talking about retro, PC, and mobile gaming. And today, we're talking about Anbernic's latest controller, the RG G01. So let's open this up and see if this controller is right for you. So this is Anbernic's controller, the RG G01. Got pretty standard packaging on here from Anbernic. And inside, we've got the controller, the yellow version, our user manual, USB-A to USB-C charging cable, a phone clip, another set of thumbsticks that are taller, and the dongle. So we have the pretty standard setup here with what you get with a controller. The only downside is you don't have a charging dock with it, like what comes with a Manba 1 controller, which this is obviously a clone of. But we'll compare them and go over the differences. So the screen here on the front of Anbernic's controller, they're calling the SmartPad, and this is a 2.5D IPS screen. It can be used for heart tracking and instant setup. And we'll go more into detail on that a little bit later. The face buttons are a micro switch connection along with the D-pad as well. You can hear they're pretty clicky. The D-pad on here kind of reminds me of one of Gamester's Pro controllers. It kind of pivots in place with that micro switch connection. The only difference is this one's raised up above the controller a little bit and it's a little stiffer, whereas the Gamester controller's D-pad sets down more inside of the controller. These are high precision electro-inductive thumbsticks with 1000 Hz polling rate. They've got a nice smooth travel to them due to the metal around the stick underneath the cap, and this has a 21-hour battery on it. The Anbernic website states it's compatible with PC, Switch 2, and mobile. The left and right shoulder buttons use tactile switch connections. And around on back, the M1, 2, 3, and 4 switches feel like tactile connections as well. These are Hall effect triggers and can be switched from analog to digital. And when you hit those trigger locks, this turns these into a micro switch connection as well. And then we've got our on-off switch. On the bottom front here are our menu buttons. Up top is our USB-C connection, along with a dock connection for the phone clip. And then on the sides of the controller here, I believe this is where the heart rate sensor is located. It looks like you may have one on both sides. We'll check that out here in just a bit. And then you can see the rumble motors here on the front of the controller, just like the Manba 1 controller. And this is the faceplate that also comes off as well. To do that, you just pop the D-pad out and then lift off. And it's a magnetic connection. So you can see this is pretty similar, almost identical to the Manba 1 controller. There are a few slight differences. One being the D-pad, it's a little different style, and the faceplates as well. On the Manba 1, you don't have to remove the joystick or the D-pad to take it off, but these are not interchangeable due to the magnets being in different spots on these controllers. The thumbsticks are, however, interchangeable on these two controllers. And this D-pad feels a little cheap, and it only goes on one way, so you got to be really careful when you're putting it on, not to break these little tabs off. So now we're going to power this on for the first time and take a look at the menu. Once you have it powered on, you can see the battery symbol up here at the top, the Bluetooth connection symbol along with the Anbernic's logo, and it says press the home button for 3 seconds to enter the menu. So that's another similarity to the Manba 1 controller as well. And in the menu we've got mode, pairing, settings, calibration, brightness, language, testing, and health. And this is one feature I do like on here. You can actually make menu selections on here with the face buttons instead of having to use these buttons down here like on the Manba 1 controller. So highlighting whatever selection you want on the menu and then pressing A will take you into that setting. And it looks like it's starting to track my heart rate right now under the static detection mode. You can also turn it off down here at the bottom. Not really sure how handy this feature is going to be on a controller, but it's still neat to have it nonetheless. Under the testing selection, in here you can test all the buttons on your controller. A, B, X, Y, so on and so forth. And then you're going to want to hit the back button to get out of here. Of course, you can select your language under the language setting, and right now we're not at full brightness. Let's see what that looks like on this screen. So there's max brightness. It looks like you've got maybe 3 or 4 settings on here. That's where we were before, about mid-range, a little dimmer, and then all the way dim. Under the settings tab, you can set up 4 different configurations along with a switch configuration. And after selecting your config, you can press to the right and you can set up each button how you'd like it. If you want your A button to equal A or if you want it to equal Y, you can set all that up in here. You can also set your dead zones on your triggers as well. And the same with the joysticks. Under the default selection, you can set the dead zone to however you'd like to set it on each joystick. And then they also have a few pre-configs as well. Immediately, latency, and then performance. And you can adjust these as well. Under the sensor setting, I believe this is where you will adjust the gyro sensitivity. Under advanced, they've got a few different modes, racing mode and shot mode. Under the open method, you can set it to always on, key to on off, press and hold to switch on off. Under setting, you can have closed mapping, map to left joystick, or map to right joystick. And of course, you can adjust the vibration sensitivity. And by default, it's turned all the way up. Under the calibration setting, you can calibrate joysticks, triggers, as well as the sensor calibration. And under the sensor calibration, this is where you would calibrate the actual gyro of the controller. And under the mode setting, you have X input, D input, switch, Android, and iOS. And under each setting, you can either connect with receiver being the USB dongle, or Bluetooth, except for iOS, and that's Bluetooth only. And then under pairing, this is where you'll do your Bluetooth connections. When you're connecting the controller to PC with a dongle, just hold the home button down for 3 seconds, go into the menu, select mode, X input, and then make sure receiver is selected. Next, just plug your dongle in and it'll connect automatically. Now for Bluetooth, the only difference is select mode, and then over here on receiver and Bluetooth, just select Bluetooth. Go back into your menu and then select pairing. And then it will show up on PC as Xbox wireless controller. Once you select that, it will pair automatically. Here we are going to test out this D-pad with a little Street Fighter Alpha 2 and see how well we can hit those special moves with those Ken Masters. And for me, this D-pad takes a little bit of getting used to because it is really precise in how it actuates with each direction. But it looks like we're not having a whole lot of trouble hitting those moves. And those micro switch connections, you can really hear that click on them, which doesn't bother me too bad, but I know some people really don't like that clicky sound. So yeah, the D-pad's working really well for hitting the special moves on a game like Street Fighter. And even when I'm missing a special move, it feels to me like that's just error on my part, because you can really feel each time this actuates in any direction. It's a really precise D-pad. Ken Masters is still undefeated. I'm playing Contra here. You can see what I mean by how precise this D-pad is. You press down on it, you can rock it back and forth, and your character's not really moving. And if you press to the right or to the left, you can feel each time it actuates. So for the famous Contra test, pressing it down and rocking it back and forth, there's not a whole lot of movement until you actuate it. So let's go ahead and jump in and see how those diagonals really do. And they seem to be pretty precise. I'm not having any trouble hitting diagonals at all. And since the controller is so precise, if you're aiming down, you've got to be holding it directly down, because the slightest direction anyway, and your character will be moving. So once you get used to a D-pad like this, it's actually pretty good, because you can feel every time it actuates in any direction. So you know if you're going to hit a diagonal. It's pretty precise. Now if you want to use gyro on PC, you want to hit your menu button, go to controller settings, and you can see it's on the Xbox gamepad. So even though it's connected in X input mode, you'll need to scroll down to switch and then select whether you're going to use receiver or Bluetooth. If you're going to go with Bluetooth, then you'll need to go back into the PC settings and repair the controller. This time it will show up as Pro Controller. Now if you're using the receiver, all you have to do is hold the menu button down, go to mode, select switch, and then receiver, and your controller will pair automatically. Now once you have it in switch mode, you can go back into your controller settings, and you can see it's the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. Now you can set your gyro up. Go to Edit Layout, go down to Gyro, select Gyro to Mouse, and then you can see we've got ZL set to activate it. And now when you hold down the left trigger, your gyro is activated. Just to make sure we're getting top accuracy though, we're going to go into Calibration, down to Sensor Calibration. Now we're going to set the controller down and press A. And it's calibrated, and you can see it's moving right with the controller. The gyro seems to be pretty good on this. And here we've got a chance to test it out in action. And I'm sure you can tell, but I'm not too great at using gyro with a controller. But if you are, I think you'll be happy with this one. If you're interested in using the little phone clip that comes with the controller, you can see the little tabs right here. These will slot right into the top of the controller. You'll just line them up and then slide them down into place. And now you're able to slide your phone in right here. The phone clip actually works really well with this controller, and it's paired in iOS as an Xbox controller, but because you can set all your gyro up here on the screen, you're still able to use the gyro even though it's paired as an Xbox controller. And when using gyro on iOS, this may be even more accurate than using it on PC. The gyro works really well on Android too, and you can pair either with a dongle or by Bluetooth. For games like PUBG, you'll want to use that key mapping feature, but I was never able to get the gyro working quite right on that PUBG. Here we are using gyro on a little Forza Horizon 4, and this controller actually has some of the better gyro that I've seen on controllers. It seems really precise. Let you guys take a look and see what you think. Now I've said before, I'm not too good at using gyro, especially on a driving game, but if you're looking for a controller to use like this looks pretty accurate to me. And I've got it set to L to activate the gyro so it's not on all the time, so I can recenter it if I need to. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty accurate to me. What do you guys think about it? So in comparison between the Anbernic RG G01 and the Manba 1 controller, I've actually come to like Anbernic's controller better than the Manba 1 controller. This is like an upgraded version of the Manba 1 to me. I like the precise clickiness of the D-pad here. The thumbsticks seem a little tighter to me. The screen is actually a lot better material than what's on this Manba 1 controller. Another feature I really like here on the G01 is whenever you lock these triggers out, they actually turn into digital triggers with that micro switch connection. When you lock the triggers out on the Manba 1, they just have a stop to them. They don't have that micro switch connection. Just kind of makes it feel more cheap in my opinion. So these are both really great controllers. I just like the G01 a little better. The only downside is no charging dock. All right, everyone, that's it for the RG G01. For me, it's a keeper. Let me know what you guys think about this controller. As always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, check out our other videos, and we'll see you next time on RPM Gaming.